What are you trying?
Straight out of the brand new Trader Joe's section. Ginger lemon flavored probiotic sparkling beverage. Tart, refreshing, bubbly, cultured. Hashtag for the culture.
She loves a cultured drink.
Just like
You
Teffy and
love, like,
Selena for the culture.
for the yeah, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's basically everything. Every time Teffy does something that has anything to do with anything of being a Latina, I'm just like, Teffy, it's for the culture. It's just for the
Or
culture.
the old vlog we did. I think it was it in the Miami vlog? One of our old vlogs when you, me, and Aaron are just screaming, for the youth. It's for the youth.
I don't
Do you
even
remember
remember
that?
that.
Oh,
No.
I'll send you the clip or we'll
That's
insert it.
funny.
We'll get Kay to insert the clips. And I'm always like, for the youth, for the culture. Shit. Wow. 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 It's for them. It's for the kids. It's for the youth.
That's how I feel every time my mother says something upsetting that like so comes from just like deep rooted Latin culture. I'm just like, it's for the culture. And we're keeping it alive.
Oh my God. What my mother and your boyfriend said about the very exciting thing that we're about to go
It
do.
just, yeah. Things we'll never be able to say.
Like, our humor is not even fucked up compared to our families. I just want people to know that.
No.
We're not even close
Mm-mm.
compared to the shit
Mm-mm.
that they say.
No, we're sure not. We are
We're sure not.
the presentable version.
Which that's saying, yeah, that's really saying
Yeah. I
something.
keep thinking of Kay, who is, if you're new here, if this is the first episode you're ever listening to of Thoughts May Vary, welcome. We never do that. Hi.
Hi.
And our editor, Kay, who's lovely, sent a very clear note and said, Gabby, stop touching your microphone. Because I caress it. I really do. It's because I got rid of the stress ball.
I know. We should both. I'm going to hold mine.
So I'm going to put it right here and I'm just going to talk and we just hope that it flows.
Here we go.
Ready?
Welcome to the season finale.
Do other podcasts do seasons or we just make this up? I love your pearl necklace.
Thank you. I went to the beach and so I wanted to wear pearls.
Oh, cute.
This is the necklace I wore like every day in
I
Miami
remember.
with you.
It's pretty.
Yeah, it's my mom's.
She's a pretty girl.
As all of my good jewelry is.
What a time
to be alive.
To be alive. We were just, before we started recording, we were talking about this season and just looking back at how far we have come since episode 1, which God forbid you've listened to.
Please don't.
We've come such a lot. You know what I was thinking about too? Even just like our graphics, dude. I'm just about to air our grievances.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it yesterday and I was like, because Meadow and I, moving into season 4, we were chit-chatting about maybe just doing a little brand refresh and updating some graphics here and there. And I was like, wow, our Instagram is the perfect depiction of growth. If you look from the very beginning to now, and we haven't tried to hide it in the way that I think like brands
we're open about it.
would. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we don't really announce all the time when we're doing these vibe shifts. We just like do it.
Yeah. But the people grow with us. They're
Yeah.
into it. I think it's fun to like change your art depending on where you're at in the season, right? Like all we do is talk about how to imbue our messages of what we're learning in real time and like put that into our art and our advocacy and what we're creating. So it's like fun to do that in little things like graphics too.
No,
I
totally.
think people notice it, even when it's subtle.
Yeah.
Another way in which we've grown, which we didn't even realize, and now that I'm looking at you, look around you, dude.
Freaking
We
studio.
have a fucking studio.
Yeah.
We have a studio.
I'm really liking that we're taking inventory because that's something I don't do quite enough, especially for like quote unquote little things.
Yeah.
I mean, having a studio is not a little thing, but do you know what I mean?
No, I do know what you mean. And it really adds up because today, all day long, what I was working on is an article about exercise and mental health, focusing a lot on dopamine receptors and intrinsic motivation and how, just like with life in general, with exercise, with any mental health tool, nothing's a quick fix. It's the journey, not the destination. So how do you make the journey more fun along the way? And if you can activate your reward center along the way, that's what keeps you motivated and what keeps you going. And it reminded me of us, speaking of this fun thing we were invited to, the studio, like every little thing that comes up, I think you and I do make a point to really celebrate ourselves in a way that keeps us going.
But do you know what? I really only do that because you're here. Because
No, absolutely. Because oh my God, I'd be so much meaner to myself without you.
Yeah, like part of me is just like, oh wow, like look how much Meadow did. Do you know what I mean? It's like not even.
Oh, that's exactly how I'm like, look, Gabby did this. That's how we frame it. Yeah. But that's what, but then you end up absorbing it, you know?
I mean, whatever works. Literally today, so I started with a new coach.
So
exciting. And I have a couple lessons that I wanted to share, but this I wasn't even planning on sharing this one, but this brought it up. We were talking about this sort of exact thing of like not giving yourself enough credit when, like, for example, I was saying, I was like, I went freelance and I just feel like I've just been what have I done for the last 2.5, almost 3 years? And she was like, "I need you to take inventory." She's like, "Your homework is you're gonna make a little Excel spreadsheet or, like, write it down, whatever works." So, like, probably gonna go on Notion because we all know that Meadow put us all onto that. And she was like,
Yeah.
"In one column, write down where you were 3 years ago in your life.
Mm.
Write down in another column where you're at now, and then in another column, write down where you wanna go. And then in the
Mhm.
next column, you write what are your limiting beliefs that are holding you back. And then in the next column,
Mm.
you write I can't remember exactly what terminology she used, but, like, let's say, like, the limiting belief is, like, I'm too old. The next
Mhm.
column will say, like, my time is now. So whatever you would kind of
Mm.
call it, like a
Like an affirming statement that counteracts your limiting
yeah,
belief.
yeah,
Okay, we're gonna turn this into a Notion template and also link this with my Notion
we
template that
should.
everyone's yelled at me about that I still haven't made because I didn't even realize that you could, like, share the template
Isn't that
because
a
I'm
great exercise
105
though?
years old. No, I love that, and we're also making that one of the tools that we share on Instagram now.
I'm really
I
excited about it.
love, love, love that.
But yeah.
Wow. Okay, so tell us about your new coach.
Well, she's great. I'm first of all, before we say anything, I know a while ago we got a lot of questions about like how to find the right therapist and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So she is a coach, which like again, new thing for me. She's been a coach.
Mhm.
You know what? I'm not even gonna go into it because I was about to like prove her credentials.
Yep, we already unpacked that with me. We don't need to
Right.
do that with yours.
Anyway, I
Yeah.
found her through the tools book. She's wonderful and I'm really excited. But right before I met with her, I was in the process of finding somebody new and I met with somebody else who was also, equally wonderful, but just not the right personality fit for me. And I was so
Mhm.
close to just like going with her because she was really nice and like, seemed in touch with like what I wanted to be talking about, but something felt off. I think I
Mhm.
said it to you. I was just like, but like, eh. And part of me just wanted to start now, so I was just gonna go with her, and then I was like, "You know what, Gabby? You did this last time, don't do it again. Just
Yeah.
you will find the personality
Yep.
fit, like, just keep doing it."
Yep.
And then I had another consult
Mhm.
call with this woman, and she ended up being everything I need and more, and I'm so excited about it, and it's such a good personality fit.
Yay.
Also comes from, like, a writing background, so she also has, like, the career side of it that I can work with, whatever, she's wonderful. So
Perfect.
today was our first proper call. I learned that tool, which was really helpful, or that exercise that we just shared. And then the other one, which I never thought about it this way. And we were talking about feeling paralysis when it comes to like
Mm.
making moves, any sort of moves. And she was explaining to me the concept of thinking about it like a chain of pearls or like a pearl necklace. hmm And she was explaining every step you're taking needs to hold the same weight. So she was explaining that every pearl on the necklace, on your chain, should hold the same amount of weight. So every decision or every step you're taking holds the same weight. So for example, if you're moving through a day and you're looking at all the things on your to-do list and one of them is groceries, one of them is like sending an email that you've been needing to send, like those both those things are still taking you closer to your goal. They're still taking you closer to where you want to be. She was like having that perception and sort of illustration in your mind is helpful for not creating this giant boulder that you're trying to push. Because if you
Mm.
don't break things down into digestible steps, every task seems impossible. And
Mhm.
I feel that way a
Mhm.
lot when I
Mhm.
look at my career and I see so many different prongs. And I'm like, how the
Mhm.
fuck am I going to do that? But then when we
Yeah.
break it down, again, back to the way you've been using Notion to digestible steps, and then the idea of them like holding the same weight,
Mhm.
it reminds you like, I am doing what I need to be doing and I am moving in that direction. It was just a very helpful visual for me.
Totally. I feel like one, I remember that I feel like I remember that image from the Stutz movie, which is cool, but two,
Mm,
it's also such a helpful reframe for days when people feel like they did nothing
yeah.
and accomplished nothing. It's like, no, literally, if you went grocery shopping, if you cleaned up your apartment, if if that's the only thing you did was like tidy some stuff up today, that's still getting you closer to creating the environment that helps you thrive and,
Mhm,
a standard of living and all this stuff is those it's an equal weighted measure to get you where you wanna be. I love that. That's
mhm.
a beautiful way to look at that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Catch me just sharing
Wow, I'm
everything she
excited for you.
says.
No, seriously. I also, serendipitously restarted the tools again last night
Ooh, okay.
because of you, because we all know I read like 5 books at once and then I never finish them because I just bounce around. But so I made myself finish my Rick Rubin book. I'm almost done. Well, that's a lie. I'm like 3/4 of the way done with my nature, sustainability, and mental health book, but I'm pausing on that to finish the tools
Mhm.
first because I had started it when we met them and then stopped, and I gotta pick to a book and stick to it. Otherwise,
It's
I'm never gonna finish a
hard.
goddamn book in my life because I like reading different ones in different
No, I
moods,
hear you.
you
I
know?
hear
So
you.
it's hard,
But
but
then
I'm
you can
loving
get
it.
through these so that you can, like, have a fun summer read that you can balance with your self-help
Exactly,
books,
exactly.
which we always
And
need.
I'm excited for summer. I think summer's gonna be fun for
I
us.
think so too.
Like, I know especially you have a lot we both have a lot
Yeah.
going on right now, and even in your personal life, you have a lot going on right now, but I think a lot of this stuff is gonna wrap up and clear with the end of Mental Health Awareness Month, and then moving into summer, I think we're gonna have a lot of work hard, play hard in our own way,
Oh, for
right?
sure. I
Because
think
play hard does not look like it looked like when I was 23, but in
no,
our own way.
for sure. I think I don't know. What are you most excited about for the summer?
Hmm. Well, I did just this morning send out engagement drinks invites. So, like, I'm excited to
Cute little
celebrate our
flyer.
love. That's gonna be really fun. I'm excited to take trips even if they're small. I know
Yeah.
you and I have one big one that's fun, but I really think you and I should do, like, a girls trip in Santa Barbara
Dude, we
or
should
something cute like
yeah.
that,
The
right?
I Listen, we'll talk because I have
We'll talk.
ideas. Yeah.
I'm just excited to flourish in the present. Like, I don't have
Mm,
anything necessarily, like, set on top of mind, but the main theme of, like, the past year of my life has just been not waiting in anxiety and waiting in joy, and
mm,
just, like, allowing myself to be on my own timeline. So, like, I'm still doing all the work. The work never ends. I'm still doing it all, but I'm also just gonna fucking wait and joy and just, like, have some fucking fun while I'm here.
yes.
How about you?
Same, honestly. I mean, that was a prettier way to phrase what I was gonna say, but yeah, same thing. I really am working on being more present and not future tripping as much, but
Totally,
also not making
totally.
myself feel bad when I go there and just bringing myself back gently. But I'm reframing also being in a long distance relationship because
Ooh, okay.
the long distance relationships that I've been in the past have not been the healthiest, particularly, like,
Mhm,
one was just
mhm.
horrifying. Now, I'm in a healthy relationship, I'm very in love, we're happy, etcetera, but I obviously miss him, but at the
Yeah.
same time, this is I'm so excited to, like I've never had a moment like this in my life where I'm in a relationship, but I'm not worried and, like, panicky and
Mhm,
not being myself, but also,
mhm,
like, I'm not single where, like, I am, being distracted because,
mhm.
like, that's just kind of how I was when I was single. So it's, like,
Yep.
hard for me to focus on stuff. So right now I'm just, like, it's interesting to be in a relationship where, like, somebody else is a big priority to you, but at the same time, I've never been prioritizing myself more.
Oh my
Does that
god,
make sense? That was,
totally.
like, a
Yes, it
rambly way of
does.
saying it, but, like,
No,
I
it
feel
does make
like
sense.
I remember Anna Maria said this to me when him and I first started dating. She was like, "Aren't you glad you could just, like, check the box and, like, fucking focus now?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Literally,
And
literally.
that's how I feel now. I just feel like, okay, like, not that I can, like, put him in a corner, but do you know what I mean? I'm like, "Okay, we have our relationship, it's great, we're doing our thing, you're doing your thing, and now I can just, like, focus on the things here that make me really happy here, that make me flourish in my career, in my friendships, taking girls trips." Like, I just feel
Yep.
like the world is my fucking oyster right now.
100%, and that's how healthy relationships should be. It reminds me of what I would
Who would've
say when
thought?
I would say to people, "Who would have thought?" It reminded me of what mark it on the fucking notion of how far you've come.
Yeah, I should.
3 years ago, relationship Gabby versus now, my fucking god.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of what I used to say when it was like, "Oh, you find your person." You're like, "Oh, thank God you're here. Let me catch you up on everything I've been up
Yeah.
to. Here are my dreams. Here are where we're going. Okay, leave me alone." You know, like, here we
Yeah.
go. It really
Yeah.
is that way. It's the best. It's the
I think this
fucking
is gonna be
best.
it's gonna be a summer of play, I feel like.
Yeah, I do too. I think a big inner child themes, play themes. I think bringing
Mhm.
our shadow and, like, our inner child shadow along with us is gonna be a big thing for us. I
Bro,
just
even
feel
the
it.
way that, like, I'm fucking celebrating my birthday this year versus last year.
I can't tell you how excited I am.
I know
I
you
can't
are.
tell you. Are we wearing pajamas?
Yeah, I told Meadow, I said, "Listen, I'm turning 27 years old. What is more me than not leaving my apartment?" So, that's what we're doing.
Yes.
A group of girls that I love are coming
Yes.
over. We're gonna eat great food. We're gonna have some
Yeah.
chocolate cake because that's all I want. We're gonna
Yep.
play games. We're gonna drink a little wine. We're gonna maybe watch a movie, like, slumber
I can't
party.
wait.
All I
Oh
want.
my god. Can I bring my game that I love that I've been trying to play with you that you won't let me say the name of on here?
Yeah.
Yes! Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
that's
group
gonna be
is
so
also
much fun.
it's a great group.
No, it's a great group. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Speaking of play in summer and inner child themes though, we did get a question a while ago. I mean, we get kind of asked this often, but I don't know if we've ever like really unpacked the does healing ever end and how do I
Mm,
detach my identity to this like constantly trying to fix myself narrative?
cool.
Do
Thoughts?
you have any thoughts or do you want me to start?
No, I have thoughts, but I wanna hear yours.
Go.
I mean, look, the healing does not end. We know that.
Yeah.
It's very, very not linear, and
Yeah.
I think that attaching like, making your personality I just read an article about this too, where they were saying how, like, using terms that we learn in therapy or that other people learn in therapy that we hear on TikTok that so and so learned in therapy is really fucking with our relationships because it makes everything so, like, sterile and, like, not connected and very black and white, which is hilarious because, like, this is filled with nuance. But I just think that making your entire personality your healing journey is so fucking boring. Like, bro, come on,
Period. Yeah, I
you
completely
know?
fucking agree. I completely agree, and that's actually something Lauren and Elizabeth and I talk about all the time.
Mm,
All the time. Her and I talk about
okay.
this all the time. Just because you watch, especially when people oh, I don't want
Go
this to
ahead.
come off I don't want it to come off judgy, especially when people are new to mental health and get into mental health, and then all of a sudden it's their entire brand and entire personality, and, like, the mentally ill girlies that have been around forever are just like, it's too multifaceted for that, man. Like, it's just knock it off.
Yeah, I think my opinion on it
Was
is
that too
just
mean? I'm getting
no.
loose on this podcast now.
Welcome to the club. I just
Yeah.
think because look, at the end of the day, all we're trying to do is make everybody part of this conversation. Whoever wants to be a part of this conversation, to be a part of this conversation. So I totally get when you're like new because I did the same fucking thing, bro. Like you catch
Yeah.
me 3 years ago when I was doing those Instagram lives talking about mental health, like yeah, mental health was a big part of my life privately, but it wasn't publicly and then like that became my person like I did the same thing. So I'm not again, it's not coming from a judgmental place. I just think I say it that harshly because I've moved through it in a way where like healing is so put it this way, I was in a relationship with somebody who it was their entire personality in a way that left no room for joy.
Yes. Yes.
And I
Yeah.
think when people move that way, I was literally listening to a Jay Shetty podcast talking about this today. They were sort of talking about that idea of just like when you leave no space for
Mhm.
joy and for fun and everything is so
Mhm.
like the work and the this and it's so deep. It's just like it's fucking exhausting. It's fucking exhausting. And you know what? I just reread an essay that I wrote for a book that hopefully will fucking be published in the next year. I reread the essay and I was like, "Oh my god." Like it because I'm enabling making a bad decision because it's like fun.
Yeah.
And I still stand by it.
Yeah.
I still stand by it.
Yeah.
Will I sit here and give like my future daughter that advice? Maybe not, but if she's fucking around and making stupid decisions and is being safe but is having fun, be like, "You know what? You'll learn." Like, you'll
And
learn,
sometimes you
you
have to
know?
only get that lesson by going through it that way,
I just don't
you
think
know?
we always have to be leveling up. Like, I get it.
Mhm.
I always want to be, but I think there is something human about living in a mess.
Well, I think the leveling up is inevitable.
Yeah.
If you're on this path and you're on this journey, the leveling up is inevitable no matter what. So, creating that space for joy and play and rest and fun is one, necessary to get there, and two, also helps you get there. And three, you can't always be doing the work without the rest. Like, just like sleep resets our body, and the only way you
Mhm.
can build more muscles and get stronger is also by resting in order to have that, have them integrate or whatever. I don't know what exercise means. Don't quote me on this. But do you know what I mean? Like you quite literally, it's the yin and yang. You need that space to counteract the other.
I guess that's a better way of Meta always clarifies what I'm trying to say because I don't mean for example, in a relationship, I was just fucking having this conversation with my boyfriend. For me, it's very important, and him too, to be in a relationship with somebody who is consistently thinking about their personal development and
Mhm,
growing so that we grow together.
mhm.
So that is very like that is counterintuitive to what I just said. So I'm like trying to find a
But
way of
rest is that part of growth. It's a
yeah, but what I
fundamental part of growth.
yeah, but what I mean by like we don't constantly need to be leveling up is like I think I think I think about that like in like a selfish term, not necessarily like within a
Mm.
partnership. I think of it more of like if you're single or like I don't know, but yeah, maybe I do think of it as just rest. I don't know. I'm sounding like an idiot
I
and I'm
think
not finding the words to say this properly,
no,
but
you're
like, do
not
you know
sounding
what
like an
I'm
idiot.
trying to say?
I know exactly what you're trying to say, and you're not sounding like an idiot, and I think it comes back to the second part of that initial question, which is the detaching the identity from always trying to fix yourself. I
Mm,
think that's what we're getting at, is, like, if the rest is this equal part of contributing to the leveling up, and in that process, you are releasing the attachment to what your leveling up looks like, because you don't know where your life is gonna go. We try to
mhm,
release attachment to fucking everything, right? That's like the
mhm.
Buddhist philosophical way that we're always trying to be or whatever. I think you and I have talked about this in a past episode when it comes to identity, and I think sometimes we think differently about that, but I think that plays out a lot in this dynamic of rest versus growth. Is releasing your attachment to your identity to it allows you to take those seasons when you need to, and, like,
Mhm.
understand and have that intuition of when it is time for you to play and that's actually helping you get somewhere versus when it is time to do the work and dive in deeper and when that's helping you get somewhere. Because
Yeah.
both are always going to help you. But
Yeah.
it's about learning, like, if you're not attached to which one you fundamentally are, and your personality and your content and every conversation
Mhm.
is, then you have the space to really feel in this present moment, because all we have is the now. Which do I need?
Yeah, it makes you grow a lot faster.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it makes you grow a lot faster. Detaching from your identity is hard, but
So basically, you're never gonna not see us even when we take seasonal breaks, because the work never fucking ends and we'll still
no.
be here yelling about it.
The work never ends. I was listening to something the other day that
Thank
I was
God the
like,
show's called Thoughts May Vary. We just contradict ourselves constantly.
that whole section, like, Jesus Christ, if it's your first time tuning in, like, I promise I have a train of thought that I usually follow, but today
I was like, no, our whole podcast is like that.
it was long gone in
I
that
actually
train of
saw
thought.
a TikTok about how authentic people are constantly contradicting themselves because all they're doing is growing. And they're willing to break out of their comfort zone and try on other things and,
Mhm.
like, take on other meanings and contradict what they feel, because everything is nuanced and not black and white. So we will contradict ourselves constantly. And that's the fucking name of the show. But anyway, you were saying something.
I don't recall.
Mm.
Oh, I do recall. It was just about that idea of, like, how the work really fucking is never gonna end, and if you attach they were talking about, like, attaching such emphasis on specific goals that are, like, externally motivated, and how you're just
Mm.
never going to be satisfied because
Yeah.
you get the
Then
thing,
you
and
just set
then
higher ones.
well, if you're like, "If I just do this, then my parents will be proud of me." But, like, what if they don't give you the reaction that you want?
It's the have do be concept. We've
Right.
talked about that before. Yeah.
But if you're thinking about personal development, I think that why is so much greater than, like, anything else, any physical,
Hmm.
external, whatever, that, like,
Hmm.
I feel like it's difficult to be disappointed because you are gonna constantly have that little bit of growth.
Totally. That's a sweet way to put it.
So it's
That's a
like,
sweet
yeah,
way
the
to put
work
it.
is never ending, but at the end of the day, like, how cool for you to look back and be able to, like, have snapshots of yourself where, like, even if you put 2 images of yourself next to each other, you'd be like, "Oh my god, I don't even recognize those 2 people together. Those are completely different people." But that's, like it's beautiful, it's
And that's
change.
my goal, quite frankly. I don't
That's
ever
me all the
wanna
time.
look the same. Yeah. From one day to another, I don't ever wanna look or feel the same way. I wanna be different every day.
I think it's been really cool to have meaningful friendships like the one that you and I have because I know that you've mentioned that you've seen that within me, and I see that within you. Like, it's been really exciting to
Oh, we're
watch your
so
growth.
different. Oh
Yeah.
my god, it's been so much fun. And once again, fucking great way to track your patterns and track your growth is start a fucking podcast, man. Because having these weekly check-ins, are you kidding? All I do is have tabs and memories of, like, where we've been and what we've unpacked in the past and where we're at
Mhm.
now. It's very fun. It's showing our brain how far
Oh,
we've
yeah.
come in a
Oh,
cool
yeah.
way.
I wanna get into a Q&A because I was about to start
Oh my
talking
god,
about a
yeah.
question that talks about this. Because it was about
Oh, okay.
maybe we'll start with that one.
Okay. I've been really sassy in these Q&As, which I didn't really realize till we start pumping out all those reels, and then I'm like, "Oh, I'm kinda sassy with the advice sometimes."
I just got a text from my coach. I love when it, like, comes back to reality where she's like, "Great session, Zelle or Venmo?" And I'm like, "Right,
Hell yeah.
I gotta pay
Get
you."
yours, babe.
Okay. Somebody asked, "Advice for dealing with the embarrassment of a failed relationship and life after."
Aw.
Boy, did that get me thinking because, guys, when I tell you that my previous boyfriend was the definition of a scrub, like, I'm talking living at my house for free, driving my car, eating my food, using my gym,
When
like
the resources were so plentiful for him, it wasn't even funny.
just a scrub. When that man broke up with me, I was mortified. Like I mean, guys, listen to our don't, but do listen to our first episode. It's just me talking about that. It's me talking about how mortified I was that this man, like, was he a bad man?
No.
No, but was he just a complete
Not for you?
scrub? Like,
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So I was mortified and I went through that exact feeling. I was so embarrassed, especially because it was the first person that I was like
Yeah.
publicly, not that I'm like a fucking celebrity, but I was posting him on
Right.
Instagram since like my last very serious relationship, like 3 years prior or
Right.
something. So I was really embarrassed. I was really embarrassed because I felt like I was wrong. Like I felt like an idiot. I felt like I told everyone, oh my God, I'm gonna get married. Oh my God. And then it didn't work.
Mhm.
And then I realized, like, everything about him just came, like, hit me in the face when we broke up, and I was like, "Ugh," like, I got the ick so fast, and I was like, "Oh my God, I can't." I was mortified, you guys. I was mortified. But there is nothing embarrassing about trying, and there is nothing embarrassing about loving
Mhm.
and growing
Mhm.
and sharing in a relationship. There's nothing embarrassing about that, so please, for the love of God, do not feel embarrassed when a relationship ends because I guarantee you, you don't have to do it right now because we don't always need to immediately search for the silver lining, but I guarantee you that in a month's time, 2 months' time,
1
whatever,
year's time,
maybe tomorrow,
you'll feel.
you're gonna write down a list
Mhm.
of all of the shit that you fucking learned from that.
Mhm.
Good, bad, or indifferent.
Mhm.
You're gonna have a list of lessons for yourself, and that is invaluable.
Mhm.
In my opinion. So please don't be
I
embarrassed.
love that answer so much because to take it extreme, we've both also been in toxic slash abusive relationships, which we've talked about in season 1 as well, which you can go listen to. But my embarrassment came from not only did I not recognize that I was being abused, but I'm a mental health professional, not recognizing that I'm in an
Mm,
abusive relationship. Like, do I even deserve to be in this job? How embarrassing is that? And
mm,
that this was years ago. But then in unpacking that, I came to the exact same lesson was it is never embarrassing to love someone
yeah.
and to try for someone.
It's
And I'm just
not.
frankly
And to
not embarrassed
try.
about it anymore because I'm like,
I think
it's a strength.
and you shouldn't be,
You
and you
should
fucking
be.
shouldn't be, and there's so many women that have moved through, whether it's a toxic or abusive relationship, that feel this embarrassment of, "Why didn't I see it?" Or, I was in experiences where not this same loser, a different loser, was, like, screaming in my face in
Yeah.
public, just talk about being fucking
Yeah.
mortified of, like, airing your dirty laundry in public all the
Yeah.
time, and for years, I'd go back to Miami and I'd be at these parties and all these people would be there, and it killed me because these
Mm.
people watched him
Mhm.
do that to me,
Mhm.
and then when we broke up, I was, like, the exiled one,
Mhm.
and I was, like, the one with, like, the fucking scarlet letter on her
Mhm.
chest,
Mhm.
and you feel that sense of deep embarrassment, but it's exactly what you said, like, you were doing your best.
Mhm.
It was an experience. You tried. It's for the plot. It made
It's
you who
for the
you
fucking
are.
plot.
Thank
It's for
them.
the book.
Thank them and move
Yep,
on.
absolutely.
It's
Thank them
all
and
for the
move on.
fucking book.
Aaron and I were talking about that today in a different way in terms of someone that has wronged me in the past, and he's like, "I send them hate every time I think about them." And I was like, "Literally last night, I did a ho'oponopono for them." Like, every time I think about them, I send them
Yeah.
love, and it was because I started reading the tools, and I pictured my
Active
love
love.
going out, condense in the chest, shoot it out towards them, and feel it go into them, and I did it over and over for them.
Yeah.
So, I hope they felt it.
Wow.
'Cause I'm sure they're listening
That's
sometimes.
yeah.
See, my sass is
Oh, I
really coming
always
out.
have.
I'm getting a lot sassier on this podcast. Maybe I should cool it.
No. I feel like I'm sprinkling
I
it
know
onto
you
you.
you really, really are. Okay, ask us a different
I like
question.
it. I like it. No, but
Uh,
also, you know what? It's your inner child showing because if you look at any baby picture of Meadow,
the sass is next level.
it's
If
palpable.
that is true,
So
frankly. You're
maybe you
making me
really are
more
just
myself.
yeah.
Yeah,
You're welcome. It's
thanks.
all thanks to me.
Always
I'm
is.
kidding.
Always is.
Wait, side note, I had to address that. You say that they listen to this podcast. The funniest revenge. I
Oh, yeah.
always told my like the really psychotic abusive one. I was like, yeah, you'll remember me for the rest of your life 'cause you'll see me on fucking
They're
TV.
probably on Patreon. Just kidding. They're not. They're not. It's a safe
They're real
space.
not.
Please come to Patreon. It's a safe space. I promise it isn't, but absolutely. Absolutely.
So funny. Okay,
Remember when your mom
next
signed up for
cue.
Patreon and you're like, "Stop being a narc. Get off."
No, I didn't want the people to know that she's on
She's
there.
not though. She doesn't ever go on. I think she just tries to give
I
us
know because
money.
I
Yeah.
fucking yeah, she's giving us an allowance on
Yeah,
there.
she's so sweet.
That's how it
Yeah.
feels. She's giving us, like, ice cream money.
Literally, that's exactly how it feels. I love her.
It's really sweet. I wouldn't be shocked, by the way, if my mom, like, blasted out an email to, like, everybody in her office, like, telling them to fucking subscribe to her
Oh, I
Patreon.
love that. I hope she did.
No, I hope she didn't. Oh god. Next cue. We kind of also talked about this already too,
Hmm.
but let's just answer the question. Conflicted between being more adventurous in life versus stable and peaceful in my 20s. Any thoughts? And they spelled it THOTS.
Do you know how many times I wanna call our community thoughts or
Yeah,
thoughties?
I know.
I know. I won't, but I want to.
Guys, why do you have to
Do
choose?
both.
Yeah,
That's the answer. Yeah, there's no
who
one or
cares?
another. If we've learned anything on this podcast, everything is gray. Do both in the moment and in real time. Ask yourself genuinely, which do you need? Don't limit
Guys,
yourself.
it's giving
All can
range.
exist. It's giving range. All can
It's giving
exist.
range. Beginner tips for people trying to get into spirituality, tarot, crystals, meditation. We've touched on this. Come to our Patreon.
Mhm.
Check out Michaela, our in-house witch. Meadow
Literally check out
posts
Michaela.
Yeah, Meadow always posts great resources for full moon
Mhm.
prompts and, like, where you
Mhm.
pull those prompts from.
Full and new and where I pull them
Mhm,
from.
mhm.
I think things to be wary of when you start though, because I like with every other community, we talked about this with Dr. Sam, Zan, and Derek a little bit too. Like every other community, there can be a lot of fear mongering or there can be a
Yeah.
lot of like culty vibes sometimes. Like
Mm,
the spirituality community is one in which it's very easy to try to manipulate other people. So I
yeah,
think getting clear about what feels good to you and what doesn't, consciously and critically consuming content, and also seeking answers within yourself before ever going to someone else. Those are my big
yeah.
tips for starting. But then in terms
Mhm.
of like places and things to do and prompts and exercises, that shit's all on Patreon for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Dig back. We have like at minimum like 15 different journal
Mhm.
prompt posts already that have like multiple prompts within them. So
I like what you wanna say, and I wanted to reinforce it about specifically with tarot, because meditation, I think, is exactly that, of being able to find and hear yourself
yeah,
first. But, like, with tarot and something that I really like about, for example, like, the tools coaches and why I was really called to them was the whole like, the point is not for us to rely on these people to tell us what to do.
exactly.
It's the same thing with the tarot. I went through a spiral of
I
tarot
remember that
videos at one
phase.
point in my life. It was, like,
Uh-huh.
last
I remember
summer,
that. Yeah.
and, oh my god,
Yeah.
like, I went into Spiral Town
Yeah.
through tarot videos telling me what to do from random bitches on the internet that I've never met in my life, that are
Mhm.
reading to 400 people I've never vetted do you know what I mean? There's no vibe check,
Yep.
like,
Yep.
look within for the answers, and if any healer is telling you that they're the only one with the answers, it's probably a cult, so you should
Run.
run.
But, and then also real quick, if you don't wanna go to Patreon or if it's not accessible to you, Eckhart Tolle books, Michael Singer books, none of them have all the answers and everything is with nuance. Take what feels good and leave the rest and listen to Ram Dass
Mm,
lectures. They're on Spotify on the Be Here Now
mhm.
network. Maybe they're on the podcast app. I always listen on Spotify. Those are my favorite. Alan Watts,
Love.
also really cool and spiritual and interesting. After School has, like, some cool YouTube videos. Start doing that kinda
Mhm.
stuff.
Find podcasts that you are interested in that feel good. What is this dude's name that he was on? Oh, Ryan
Oh,
Holiday,
yeah.
the author. He did, like, The Daily Stoic, Ego is Enemy, that guy. He was on Jay Shetty's podcast, and it was a wonderful conversation, and it was on discipline, which the conversation took a different turn than I thought it was going to, because I thought it was gonna be about, like, discipline, but it was actually, like, how the most disciplined people need discipline and not being so disciplined,
Period. Also, my
It
signs
was
and
interesting.
synchronicities for the past 2 weeks have been fucking
Meadow
uncanny.
bro
But wait, you
same.
even bringing him up to me, you know that Emily June and I were texting yesterday and she was talking to me about him in a new book that I would
About
love.
Ryan
Yeah, because
Holiday?
I've never read any of his books. And I was like, who is that again? She was like,
Mhm.
Meadow. He's so your guy. And I was like, shit, I have to dive in more. Like every time something's brought up, it's regurgitated or reiterated within 3 times within 24 hours. Like it's nuts. It's nuts.
Who said this to us I was trying to remember if somebody said this on the podcast or if I heard it somewhere, but tell me if it was here. Somebody was like, "You're gonna get to a point where you're so tapped in with maybe it was my astrologist." She was saying, like, "You're gonna get to a point where you're so tapped in with the universe where these synchronicities and these signs start happening and you don't even flinch because you're like,
Yeah,
I mean, of course the universe is working. Of course there was this. Of
right.
course it was that. My God, where the fuck did I hear it? I don't think it was her. But either way, like
I mean, I feel like I might have sent you a TikTok about
maybe
that
was it a
recently.
guy? Because I'm feeling like it was a man that said it.
I don't
Okay, maybe
remember.
it was that, but I know I heard it somewhere and I can't remember who said it. Maybe it was that,
Yeah,
but it is really true. And I'm getting to
yeah,
that space where like, dude,
totally,
everything is
totally.
just
Yeah. No, the past 2 weeks are insane. I
yeah,
was even telling my mom how my mom said something to me the other day about how she was very witchy in high school and stories she hasn't told me and blah, blah, blah. She said, "But everyone feels like that. Like, everyone talks to the universe." And I was like, "Actually, quite frankly, I don't think they do."
no,
Like, on our podcast, we get asked all the time to share signs and synchronicities so people can start parceling out what are theirs and what it means for them and how to recognize them. And she was like, "What? Really?" And then yesterday, I left Pilates and I walked outside and I'm on the phone with her and I get in my car and I look up and the sign of the building is a giant hummingbird, which I've
mhm.
seen millions of, which is one of my biggest motifs. And literally, I was like, "Oh, there's a hummingbird." And mom goes, "Oh, take a picture so you can share it with your listeners." So
Stop, I'm obsessed with
cute.
her.
It was so cute. She told me that in high school, like all the time, she would count or like predict 50 out of 52 cards in a deck constantly. She was like, I could do shit that was just uncanny all the time, like stories I've never even told you. And I was like, I'm not surprised. Speaking of not
What?
being surprised, I was like, of course you are. Yeah.
So much makes sense.
I was telling her about, sorry, now we're
No, go
really getting
ahead.
rambly, but I'm excited to see you. I was telling her about your whole lineage and your line and your
Mm,
grandma because it was
mhm.
just your grandma's day. And how, she set free a
Yeah,
whole thing for you guys and the witchiness, and so that's what prompted our whole conversation, so you were inadvertently a part of that conversation too.
I'm telling you, we come from witches. I'll tell that story maybe one day, but
We do.
for another time.
Oh, follow Brooke for spirituality stuff. I love her, and I think she has a great take on everything too, a Carnum LA. Okay, move on.
Okay, what's the biggest challenge? Gosh, okay, this person always asks the best questions, they always ask the sweetest question.
Who?
I'll
Show
show you
me
after.
secretly.
What's because I don't know if people want me
Okay.
saying their names on here.
No, I know, I know.
What's the
Yeah.
biggest challenge you faced in the last 6 months?
Well, okay, what's the 6-month mark? What are we on, month May? So since
Mhm.
December to now?
I know I had to
I wanna
I
look at
had
my
to think about
journal.
it, but I think I have one.
Will you share while I flip through my journal?
Yeah. I'm I tried to chew on it more and I was like, "No, this feels right." I think the biggest lesson that I've had to learn in the last 6 months is that sometimes I actually do have the answer because
That's a good
I
one.
go like this when I have a problem and I'm like, "Who can I grab to tell me what to do?" Because there
Mhm,
is something very comforting about somebody else telling you what to do because then you're no longer as responsible for the outcome of the decision.
mhm.
And there have been a lot of pieces in my life lately that talking about signs and synchronicities have pointed to be like, you know the answer and you are actually correct and you know how to move and you know what to do. So stop doing the outreach and going to everybody around you and leaning on people that might be just feeding into your conditioning or whatever it is, you have the answer. And look, this is also
Mhm.
coming from somebody who like I am a big advocate of never being the smartest person in the room. If I'm the smartest person in the
Yeah,
room, I don't want to be there.
yeah.
And that isn't to say that you shouldn't be in spaces where you're teaching, because that's gonna
Right,
be
right, right,
guys,
right.
catch Meadow in the next however many years being our fucking teacher and healer forever. But you know what I mean? So
Yeah, I
learning,
do, yeah,
giving myself power of being like, you actually know has been a really powerful
yeah.
lesson for me in the last 6 months.
I love, love, love that. I think just quickly flipping through, I kind of think it's what we were talking about earlier, where I think the last 6 months, I just get more and more and more embodied in a way where I'm not rushing the timeline anymore.
Mm,
And, like, I'm really just enjoying being present and really like, even in the mini manifestations of breaking things down in 6 months and wanting things to move quicker, it's like the more and more that I let go, the more things are coming through and coming through quickly.
yeah.
And I've been keeping track of it, and it's fun because, like, one of the pages that I just turned to is this giant page, and it just says, "Remember all of the universe is a dance of energy."
Mm,
And it's just like that. I think that's a big lesson that I've really, really taken to heart the past 6 months. Is just, like, really consciously trying to only put out good things, thinking of people that have wronged me and just constantly sending them love and ho'oponopono and moving the fuck on. Like, I'm just unbothered and I'm grounded in,
you
like, a
really
really
are.
fun way, in,
You
like, a
really
really
are.
fun way. Yeah.
I have felt it
And it's a
as your
testament
friend.
of a good Thank you. And it's a testament to that balance of any other moment, every other hour. I'm either like sitting in a meditation, doing TBM, journaling out big feelings, talking out big feelings, or I'm fucking playing.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, just creating the space to give you what you need and like not being attached to it, but going through both and doing that dance of the energy with the universe. Like, my fucking God, am I just unbothered?
It's so dude, and that is crafting a sustainable life for you. That was something else they were talking about on the podcast today about, like,
Oh,
the
that's a good
discipline
one.
thing of
Yeah.
if you're just look, there is always moments, especially if you're, like, very career driven and are trying to accomplish something, like, I'm not telling you not to grind. Like, I'm not one of those people who is, like, all the way over
Right.
here. Like, no, we know this. I've
Right.
talked about it. But if you don't have time for play, rest, recharging, recuperating in whatever way that looks for you, it's a completely unsustainable way to live. You're going to burn out
Yeah.
inevitably and you're going to be operating out of a place of complete and utter burnout. Like you're not going to have new ideas, you're not going to be able to move, you're whatever. You're going to have tunnel vision. So you doing that is you're setting this foundation for the most sustainable life for yourself,
Totally,
which is
totally.
very
Also,
inspiring to
going back
watch.
to our self-growth, thank you. Going back to our self-growth, you've become a very good active listener. Not that you ever weren't, but you're so quick and good at not only regurgitating how people feel right away, but using even like more illuminating examples to reiterate what someone was trying to tell you.
Thank
It's happened
you.
in your writing and it's happened on this podcast a lot.
Thank
You just
you.
made me feel that way just now. And I was like, oh, that's a good example of growth too.
Oh, thanks. We
You're
both
welcome.
become better active listeners.
Yeah, of course. And part of that is because we're on season fucking 4 of this podcast and we still can't hear ourselves in these goddamn headphones. I don't even I know.
All right. Next question.
If anyone has a podcast and is listening to that, they're like, "Are you like,
I don't
that's
wanna talk about it.
unhinged." I know. But it's a testament to our skills.
It's just we have other priorities. We have other priorities. I
If
looked at our
someone knows how to fix
calendar.
that though, please reach out to us because we've tried for years.
Do you know what's hilarious too? That, like, yesterday, Meadow and I or no, sorry, at the end of last week, I think, or maybe it was yesterday. No, it was the end of last week. We talked about something and we were like, I don't know, all the days have meshed together because I didn't really give
I
myself a
know.
weekend.
It was
So I
making
don't
me
know what day
laugh.
it is. But
Who
the other
does?
day,
Yeah.
neither here nor there, I said to you, we were trying to make a new graphic about something. It was last week. And you were like, I was like, what's a realistic timeline? Giving us like a week. You were like, I'll have it by
Oh, yeah.
Wednesday. It's in our calendar for
Yeah.
tomorrow. The amount of times that we do that, is that graphic going to get done
Yeah.
by tomorrow?
I don't know, maybe. Right.
Who wants to work with us? Because we're great.
This is exactly how it is. Yeah, why not? I could get it done by tomorrow.
Okay. Tell me how you need support. I'm not traveling anymore
Okay.
tomorrow. So I'll tell you offline. But yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Can we make a to-do list when we get offline? Because I've thought of 2 other things on this episode that I have to do.
Yeah. All right, team. Welcome to the inner workings of our brain.
Yeah.
Okay.
So many
Next
lists.
cue. I have a short answer for this, so let me know. Best
Okay.
ways to maintain friendships as an adult when schedules are just so different. Calendar invite. Plan ahead.
Literally every fucking time even Gabby and I talk, it's on the calendar.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, plan ahead, calendar invite it.
Plan ahead.
Also, I love things. I don't live in the same city as a lot of my friends, so granted, it's a little bit different for me, but when I did, I love adult play dates. So I'm going on a dog walk, come walk the dog with me. I need to go to the
Mhm.
grocery store. You want to grocery shop together? Like, couple it with things that you already have to do because frankly, it's the only way to make it work sometimes.
I gotta do that more because I really miss just
It's the
hanging out,
best
like,
way
at
to
my
do
apartment
things.
or, like, at somebody's house
Yeah,
and just chilling and, like, having a movie night.
yeah,
Because, like, sometimes I'm like, I just don't want people in my space. Like, I wanna be able to, like, go to bed when I wanna go to bed, and I don't wanna be like, "Get the fuck out of my
exactly,
apartment." But I think every friendship I
exactly.
have, I can say, "Get the fuck out of my apartment." You know?
You absolutely can. You absolutely can. Yeah.
Excuse me. I'm, like, burping on air.
Cute.
Okay. How to know if
When
you
you told Kay to cut out sorry, now I'm self-reflective. When you told Kay to cut out your burp and they
and they
zoomed
emphasized it? Tell me if you watched that
Cheers,
episode
Kay.
where I said, "Kay, I burped. Please edit it." And you know what they did? They zoomed in on my face.
Oh,
It's a great
it's been a
time.
good season.
It's been a good
It's been a
season.
good season.
There's a couple questions left that are really good, and I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna be able to make
Okay,
through them, so should we, like, pause and do that for another time? But
give us one more.
okay. How to know if you need a change, job, living situation, habits. Bro, all these questions, talk about synchronicities because I've been thinking about all these things lately. I think when you get to a point of Gabby's buzzword of the week, diminishing returns, that's when it's time for me, I think. When your input
Explain what that feels
when your
like. Yeah.
input is exponentially greater than your output
Mhm.
and you're just not getting what you want out of the situation, you don't see an improvement in that way, I think that's when it's time to reevaluate. I'm not saying jump ship, just
Mhm.
maybe it's time for a strategic reevaluation. And that could be
Mhm.
applied to
Mhm.
any
Mhm.
situation, I think.
Totally, totally. It reminds me of when we would speak about self-awareness hell,
Mm,
and when you're stuck in the same pattern and you've been trying something out for a while and you're not moving in the way in which or you don't understand why this keeps happening to you or why the same outcomes keep occurring,
yeah,
you gotta try something new to get something
yeah,
new. I also think if you are unsure, a great tool to find out is to fucking meditate.
yeah,
I'm just gonna keep saying it over and over again because nothing creates the space to listen to yourself or to have downloads or hear ideas or just create the space to really figure out how you feel about
mhm,
something like a practice of meditation. And I say practice because you're gonna have to do it 10 minutes a day
mhm.
every day for a few weeks to get there. But nothing creates the space to listen to yourself like it.
Yeah, and I think if you wanna get granular, even identifying if you're a list maker like me, identifying doing something like TBM
Mm,
where, like, you're understanding and you're identifying your authentic code, where you're really listing out look up a values list, you're looking up you're figuring out your values, your
yes.
priorities, and if you sort of create a why of your life, I feel like we do that a lot with our career, but, like, what is the why of my life? It's easier to then
Mhm.
identify what's a yes and what's a no, because it's like, is this
Right.
contributing to the why? Is this making me feel
Without
shitty?
making the why your identity or your
Yes.
attachment,
Yes. Yes.
to play devil's
No,
advocate.
you're
Yeah.
correct. But do you know what I mean?
I absolutely do. I absolutely do. Because like, my why is to destigmatize mental health issues and to be my authentic self and act in a way that I support others'
Mhm.
healing. But I actually could do none of that for the rest of my life and still accomplish my goal because my real why is just to show up as my authentic self
But that's
every
what I'm
day.
saying. That's your real
But
why.
my idea of my authentic self, I have an idea of it, but I'm not attached to what that means because I think that'll change every day as I
Mhm.
grow. There's really no
Mhm.
attachment to anything,
Meditate.
and that's why I'm unbothered.
Listen, it really is the year of unbothered for Meadow. I hope 27's my year of unbothered. I
Yeah,
think it will be. How do we feel about that for me?
I think it
Can I
will
steal
be.
your identity?
I absolutely please, because 'cause I'm about to be entering my 30s. You can have all my old 20s
Okay.
identities because 'cause I'm gonna start making new ones.
Okay. Oh, okay, wait, I was getting my nails done today, and my nail tech is also a fellow Taurus, and she just had a birthday last
Oh,
week, and I was
happy
asking her,
birthday.
"Happy birthday, Kimberly." I was asking her about her birthday and how it was. We were talking about getting older, and I was saying how before, I think when I hit, like, 25, I was, like, panicked because I was like, "Oh my god, I
Mm,
haven't accomplished enough."
mm.
And now the reframe on getting older is, "Oh my god, thank god I'm getting older because I was so much dumber last year." Like, I like, thank god I'm getting older because I'm just getting better at life,
Yeah. Yes,
you
yes,
know?
I love that so much. Yeah, that hits. That one that one hits. I love that.
So, if you ever feel weird about getting older, just know you were probably stupid last year, so you're fine now. I'm kidding. That was
Another
harsh.
cool no, another cool reframe about getting older that your friend Katie Cruz posted on Instagram that really
We love
resonated
Katie
with me
Cruz.
was we love you, Katie Cruz, is that we never feel like an adult or like we're fully here. And it's
Mhm.
because even though I'm about to turn 30, I'm also still
Yeah,
7 and 14
yeah,
and 23 and 27. And you know what I mean? Like the past only exists in our head. It's not
yeah.
real. So you are all those people at the same time as now. So
Mhm,
that's why you never really feel like you're older and adult or is made. I
mhm.
just loved the way she put that.
She has great mantras. She has an account called
Of
I
course she
think it's like
does.
Sky Mantras or something that she started when she was working at Refinery 29, and they, like, blew up, and they're
Cool.
wonderful. She's
Shout
great.
out, Katie. We
Shout
love
out
you.
Katie. But anyway, that's my view on aging these days.
Oh, I'm so excited for your birthday.
Thank you.
Everyone that's listening to this, Gabby's birthday was yesterday, so you better have wished her a happy birthday.
Oh,
Otherwise,
yeah, it's May
you're
14th.
dead to us.
No.
Just kidding,
No.
but go do it now.
There were a couple more questions, but those were like long. And so I feel like we should save
Yeah,
them.
no, let's save them. Season 4, baby. We got a lot to unpack.
Ugh, I had to sit up. We do have a lot to
We'll
unpack.
see you soon. We're not going to be
Yeah,
gone very long.
no.
Yeah, you'll
I'm not
see us
giving
soon.
people a time period though, because I can't hold
I'm
myself
not giving people
accountable.
a time period because we are not holding ourselves to it, but it's not long.
It's not long. Thank you for being here, guys.
You guys.
This makes me
Season
really
4.
happy. I'm really proud of us.
I'm really proud of us too. It's fun to take
Yeah.
inventory. We're going to totally make that notion
Mm-hmm.
so people can do it for themselves too, because it feels good and it gives you the motivation to keep going, babe, because it never ends.
Oh,
So we'll
God, it
always be
doesn't.
here.
Talking in your ear.
Yeah.
If I've ever.
Are we gonna do the same? I haven't even asked you this offline, so I'm asking you online. Are
Okay.
we gonna do the same thing as last time and just still be hella active on Patreon or do Patreon only episodes while we're gone?
Oh,
I don't think we'll do them weekly like we've done in the past, but we'll still have hella stuff on there.
yes, please. Oh, yeah. You know what? We might have more vlogs, more consistent vlogs on there.
Yeah.
So check those out.
The last one we
And
posted was like over 30 minutes. It's a lot of content.
it was long.
Yeah.
It was long. And I think we have
Yeah.
a lot. We're going to be together a lot. So we're going to have a lot more content for you guys. So please sign up for Patreon if that's something that feels good for you. You want to go join the community over there. And if not, we'll
Yeah.
catch you here in a few weeks
Or on the grams.
on the grams. Send us DM. Send us
Or
questions
on the
always.
grams. Yeah.
We never talk about this enough. We have a website that you
Boy,
can
do we.
submit your questions on. So
Yes.
sometimes questions get lost in the Instagram sauce. So nothing like an inbox that I can just
Yeah.
quickly search through. So if you do have any questions for us, go to our website. It's thoughtsmayberry.com.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm. Go on there and go to our contact sheet and send us a little cue or like a request or a guest request, whatever, or just say hi.
Yeah. If you have guests that you want for season 4, just say
Mhm.
hi. Send us questions you want for season 4. Is there any big unpackings you want us to do?
Yeah.
We'll do them.
Yay. We're so
Okay.
grateful that you choose to listen to us.
No, I can't even talk about it. It's like my heart overflows just thinking about it.
Mhm.
Truly.
You guys are the best. We love you. Thank you for
Love
being
you.
here. We'll see you soon.
See you
Ciao.
soon. Bye.
How's it going, y'all? It's Aaron. Don't let your Monday suck. Don't have those Sunday scaries. I'm tired of everybody waking up in the week saying, shit, it's Monday. You know what goes down? TMV releases every week on Mondays. Make sure you rate and review wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're watching YouTube, yes, TMV has a YouTube, be sure to subscribe and ring that noti bell and never miss a thing. And also, join the TMV Familia by joining the Thoughts May Vary Patreon and by following at Thoughts May Vary Pod on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you for listening.
Great.
There you go.
Thanks, AB.
Got y'all.